Hey all, it's Dave with Spartan Police. Wanted to go over a couple of things that I've learned since playing. I'm still a very new Path of Exile player. I don't have many hours in PoE 1, and I've got probably about 55 hours in PoE 2 so far. But one of the things I'm looking to do is create a community that can come together and learn and teach each other different things that we may not know. So here are a couple things, tips that I've come across that I think might help you out if you're new to the game, um, or just learning things in general if you don't have too many hours in the game so far. So right off the top, skill and support gems. So one of the things I've noticed is, let me go over here. So I've noticed that it gives you quite a few options when it comes to your skills and your support gems. Obviously, it's not tied to a certain class or anything like that. But one of the things I did notice that I was showing my wife was you can go down here and click all gems, and it gives you access to everything here. But some of these you might need a certain weapon for. So before you spend one of your hard-earned gems on one of the skills that, for example, requires a bow for this ability, just double check, make sure that you're getting the right ability if you're looking at all of them as a whole. But of course, you can leave it on just quarterstaff for the monk and go to whatever ability it is that you might want to spec into. And of course, we have not just the skill gems, but we have the support gems. And again, you're clicking down the abilities that you have socketed into your skill panel, and you can select a certain support gem. Now, one of the things I learned about, my buddy Fells showed me, you can uncheck this little circle down here, and you can take a look at all of the different support gems for rank 1, 2, or 3 all at once, which is kind of nice for someone like myself who likes to look at everything and compare and try to come up with my own builds and things of that nature. This is kind of nice. So that is something I did not know about. All you got to do is check mark this, and it brings it up. And always make sure to level up certain abilities. So, like, I've got a level 6 gem here. I've maxed out what I want to. I don't really want to, or don't have a need really to max out anything else. But as you get more gems, as you progress through everything, go ahead and upgrade the abilities you've been using, and feel free to save them. So in here, I've got, where are they at? Skills. I've got a whole bunch of different skill gems that are uncut. Don't feel like you have to select a certain ability or skill, because you're going to make ults, more than likely. You're going to want to experiment with different builds. Save some. Throw them off to the side, that way you have them in the event that you want to tweak things or make another character. Things like that. Another big thing I would suggest, you don't have to, but I would highly suggest investing in some tabs. Bare minimum, what I would suggest are currency tabs and the unique stash tabs. Bare minimum. All these others, flasks, delirium I haven't gotten to, but the essence, that's nice as well. But the currency is huge because these stack. So normally it's a stack size of 40, but they just keep stacking and stacking and stacking. You can put all the currencies in here. I put my runes in here. And then the unique tab is going to save you a lot of space, because you just click your unique in here and it just puts them in there. So it's going to ultimately save you a lot of room down the road. The quad tabs, those are really nice too. I made one into one of my dump tabs here. one of my followers on Twitch, Turbinator, he suggested this. Great idea. Gives you a lot of extra space to just quickly dump gear and stuff so you can get back into the grind. But certainly use them for other types of storage as well. So, but those are the two main ones I would snag. They have sales every now and again, so definitely currency and uniques would be the two to go with. The skills one is pretty good. I do really like that. That would be another one I suggest as well. Going into currency. So currency, I can be a hoarder by nature. But one thing I've learned is don't hoard your currency. Use it. You're going to come up to certain bosses or parts of the campaign or endgame where you just need to get that little extra boost. And I've gone in here and used my currency, the Regal Orbs. I've only gotten to Act 3. They seem to drop a little bit more often, but initially in the first 2 acts, they seem to be not as dropping as often as some of the other items, like the transmutation and the augmentation. But definitely use them. All right, don't stash them, don't hold on to them. Always keep a bare minimum. That way, if you get that one piece that is like a god tier roll, you can upgrade it accordingly. But don't be afraid to spend your currency. All right, and then this little bench back here, sort of sticking with currency and then gear. So the salvage bench, whenever you're picking up loot, always look for the quality, because you can break this down and get more currency, and you can improve the quality of certain pieces of gear, armor, weapons, things like that. And you can also break down the socketed gear, and that can be common Artificer's Orb. And I just go in and I stash them up and hold on to them. And then that way I have them when I need them. But the socket gear obviously breaks it down into scraps that become orbs that you can use to put a socket into weapons or armor. And then the armor's scrap becomes, or you can use it to improve the quality of armor. If you get the blacksmith's whetstones, improve the quality of the weapons. Again, use them for those pieces of gear that you think might be able to help give you the upper edge in certain fights or things of that nature. Alright, so when it comes to extra gear that you might have that you don't need to use the salvage bench for, you've got Una over here that can disenchant items. What I was initially doing is I was disenchanting all rares and magic items. Then I started learning that the magic items, it's given me a boatload of things I don't need. The transmutation, augmentation, stuff like that. I don't necessarily, I get a boatload of them. Don't need any more. So what I've been doing is every single rare I've been breaking down so that way I get the resources to turn into, I believe it's the Regal Orbs, that can upgrade a magic item to a rare item. Super valuable, at least in the early game. Again, I'll get to the late game once I hit it. I'll make another video about that. But what I do with all the magic items, I identify each and every one with the hooded one. Go to the hooded one, identify items, and if I don't need the magic item, I then sell it. You get more gold if it's identified. Something I didn't know, caught on to it, and I was like, ooh, this is really good. And then on top of that, after every single level, supposedly, and I'm sure there's people out there that have proven this, but I've read it from multiple sources, after every level, check your vendors for better gear and level ups and things like that. So if you're hitting a wall or a hard spot, after you hit that level, come on back, talk to, well, Finn's the gambler, talk to Una, Renly in the back there, and see if they've got any upgrades for you. That kind of leads into the next tip. Gamble. Come in here and use a little bit of gold. It's going to be pricier than just going and buying something at the vendor, but I have gotten some pretty decent stuff. So this necklace, for example, I gambled last night and got it just off of a gamble. There's another one. Now, granted, it might not be the best thing for that particular tune, but it could be better than what you have on. I had a blue on here that just had mana regen. So this ended up being, or at least this one here, ended up being a better necklace than the one I had on. So use it sparingly, you know what I mean? Come in, if you got a little extra gold, gamble on those one or two pieces that are not as high level as some of your others, and it might just be that little bit that you need to get past that boss. Alright, probably should have covered this when I was doing the spells, but one of the things that I noticed, so you have a lot of your stats on the character page, right? But it seems to be all defensive. So the offensive portion is going to fall under the skills. If you come over here and click the little arrow on any one of these, it's going to give you the offensive breakdown for that ability. Didn't know that right off the bat. I learned it as I was playing around and clicking things, and it's kind of nice. One of the other things kind of going into that is if you go to your passive skill tree and you look at clicking an extra node, before you click it, you can inspect it and compare, and it'll actually tell you how that is going to affect different abilities. Another thing I did learn, so be mindful, the runes here that you put into the gear, you cannot recover them once you put them in. So if you've got a rune that has, you know, they're more one of the rare runes that drop or you don't get as many of, just be mindful that the piece of gear you're putting it in, it's gonna benefit you. Don't be scared to not use it, or don't be scared to use it, I should say, because again, it could be that one little bit that pushes you past that threshold that you need to pass to down a boss. But just be mindful of that. And then one of the last few things that I learned was, it took me a while to figure out the weapon sets. It's an awesome concept. So you can have different weapon sets with different skills that you assign to them. So for example, if I decided to come off this way and I had some weapon set points, I could put them directly into this path and have that go toward weapon set 2. So if I go here, notice the 1, notice the 2. I don't have a secondary weapon here right now, but if I wanted to focus a build for weapon set 2 around, say, lightning, I could lead a path past some lightning nodes and then use my weapon set points to fill these in. However, what I learned was you have to have actual skill points here to use the weapon set points here. So as a demonstration, I'm going to refund. I'm going to refund that. So now I have 2 skill points. I can click weapon set 1 or weapon set 2. I'm going to click weapon set 2, click, click. Now it turns green, but it used those skill points, and it also used this weapon set skill points. And then I could cancel, or I could go to weapon set 1, click, click, and then I would apply, and it would put them in using weapon set 1 skill points. And if you don't want to use any weapon sets, just unclick it. I'm going to cancel that, and I'm going to put my skill points back in. And that's all I've got for right now. Again, new player, trying to provide tips to help out other new players. I fully understand and respect there are tons of veterans out there, and a lot of this you probably already knew, but I would love for you to leave a comment, letting others know other tips, things I might have missed, things that I might have messed up, just go ahead and leave it in the comments. Help us all learn and grow. It's a great game. I was really getting into PoE 1 before PoE 2 dropped. I've been a long time Diablo player. Love ARPGs, played a lot of World of Warcraft, but this game has just completely blown me away. The developers seem to love listening to the feedback and actually listening to the community. So I'm very excited to see where this goes, and I look forward to making more content. Feel free to drop a like, comment, subscribe. All that helps out. If you're struggling, follow a build guide. I do intend on making build guides. I love to theory craft. I do intend on playing each of the classes and the ascendancies that go along with it. And just remember, dying and learning, it's all part of the process. It's one of the things with boss fights. As long as you're learning the mechanics and you're watching the telegraphing, you know, you'll eventually get it. It's just a matter of time sometimes. So thanks for your time, and have a good one.